Very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back. I hope you guys are doing good. And I hope you guys were able to solve all the questions on process costing. So, one second. Good morning, Shamli. Good morning, Linga. Good morning, Geeta. So now, let's start with one more chapter, that is service costing. Again, it's a part of method of costing, just like process costing. Again, it is also a method of costing. A very important chapter from examination point of view. In every attempt, you will find a question on service costing. When talking about the weightage of this chapter, it is 6 to 8 marks. The chapter is easy. The point is stick to the concepts, practice as much as possible. You'll be able to solve the questions of service costing. So now let's start with this chapter. Very good, Shamli. Good morning, Mustafa. So let's start with this chapter, service costing. Now, when talking about this chapter, it's a method of costing. It's used by those companies who are into service sector. I repeat again, service costing is a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector, who are providing services to the people by some or other way. Again, this is used to calculate the cost per unit of service. Accordingly, they can fix up the selling price. So, it's a method of costing used by those companies who are into service sector. It is used to calculate cost per unit of service. Now, see, ultimately we have to calculate the cost per unit. That is, we have to calculate the total cost divided by units. Now, units is basically the service, what they are providing. So now, just like cost sheet wherein it was a fixed format, wherein we have to remember where to calculate prime cost, work cost, or cost of production, cost of sales. Service costing में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Simply, we have to divide the cost into two parts, or in some cases, we have to calculate simply the total cost divided by the units of service. So, cost sheet जैसा format नहीं है service costing में. Very simple, the total cost divided by units of service. Rest, nothing to do. So now, let me discuss this concept with the help of an example, what all we'll be doing. Let me give you a brief about a service sector, let's say transportation industry. Thank you so much, Mustafa. Good morning, Ashlesha. So how this things works, let's say I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Now the total distance is, let's say, 500 kilometers. The total distance from Mumbai to Ahmedabad is, let's say, 500 kilometers. And the cost of a trip is, let's say, 50,000 rupees. The cost of trip is, let's say, 50,000 rupees. And let's say the seating capacity of the bus is 50 passengers. I'm running a bus service from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. The distance traveled by the bus one way is 500 kilometers. The cost of a trip is 50,000 rupees, including the cost of diesel, the cost of drivers and conductors and tolls. So the cost of a trip is 50,000 rupees. The seating capacity of the bus is 50 passengers. Now let's take a situation wherein I approach the transportation company that I want to take the full bus on rent. I repeat again, I approach the see, guys, think it practically. Practically sochiye. So let's say I approach this bus company and I want to, I request them that I want this full bus on hire from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. So very important, if I'm hiring the full bus if I'm hiring the full bus, they will be charging the fare per kilometer. If I'm taking the full bus on rent, they will be charging the fare per kilometer. So can you guys tell me what will be the cost per kilometer? If the full bus is taken on rent, they will be quoting the fare per kilometer. See, generally when we book the cab for outstation trip, they do charge per kilometer. So similarly, if we hire a full bus, they will be charging the fare per kilometer. So can you guys tell me how much amount they will be charging per kilometer? Very good. Sorry, Linga, it is incorrect. Can anyone tell me what will be the answer? So see, my cost per kilometer, if the full bus is taken on rent, cost per kilometer will be how much? The total cost is how much? 50,000. The total cost is how much? 50,000. And the distance traveled is how much? 500 kilometers. So how much will be the cost per kilometer? Rupees 100 per kilometer. Anyone having any doubts? Many students posted weird answer. Very good, Linga. It is correct now. Shamli, now it is correct. Very good, Pooja. Very good, Rabari. Rabari, please recheck your answer. See, now and onwards in the coming chapters, service costing, marginal costing, and standard costing, the three important chapters, I'll be asking you variety of question. I'll be putting a variety of question into the class also. So guys, do pay attention and whatever the best possible, try to post the correct answers. Anyways, now let's say I don't want this full bus on rent. I'm simply a passenger. And I want the fare from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Again, this is a direct bus service with no intermediate stops. There is no halt in between the intermediate station. Straight away from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, how much fare the bus company will be charging? Very simple. See, when talking about if they are planning to charge the fare from a passenger, we'll be calculating the cost per passenger. So here, if we want to calculate the cost per passenger, very simple. The total cost is 50,000. The seating capacity, assuming they are fully occupied, the seating capacity is 50 passengers. So very simple. The cost is 50,000. It is to be recovered from 50 passenger. So therefore, the cost per passenger will be how much? 50,000 divided by 50. It is rupees 1,000 per passenger. So if I want a full bus on hire, very simple, they will be quoting the fare per kilometer, that is rupees 100 per kilometer. Suppose I am a simple passenger, how much fare will be charging? 50,000 is the cost of trip divided by the number of passengers traveling are 50. So straight away fare is 1,000 per kilometer. Sorry, 1,000 per passenger. Now, let's take a different situation. The more practical situation, wherein the bus is traveling from Mumbai to Ahmedabad and there are halts. The first halt is Surat, then it is Vadodara, and then Ahmedabad. When talking about the distance from Mumbai to Surat, let's say it is 300 kilometers. From Mumbai to Vadodara, let's say it is 400 kilometers. And from Vadodara to Ahmedabad, it is, let's say, 100 kilometers. Mumbai to Surat, it is 300. So Surat to Vadodara, total it is 400. So Surat to Vadodara, it will be 100. And from Vadodara to Ahmedabad, it will be 100 kilometers. So Mumbai to Ahmedabad, total, it will be 500 kilometers. This is the situation. I repeat again. Mumbai to Surat, the distance is 300 kilometers. Mumbai to Vadodara, it is 400 kilometers. So it means Surat to Vadodara, it will be 100 kilometers. And from Vadodara to Ahmedabad, it is 100 kilometers. So 100 plus 400, it is 500 kilometers from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Now we want to quote the fare per passenger for the persons traveling from Mumbai to Surat, Mumbai to Vadodara, Surat to Ahmedabad. We want to calculate how much fare will be charged for various destinations. So herein, it's practically not possible for us to calculate the fare per kilometer because see, let's say it is 50,000 and the distance traveled from Vadodara to Ahmedabad is 100 kilometers. So we won't be charging 500 rupees per kilometer. Again, it's not possible that we can charge a fixed fare of rupees 1,000 because see, even though the fare per passenger is 1,000 per passenger, but what if a person gets down at Surat or Vadodara or from Vadodara to Ahmedabad? So herein, the cost per passenger is also not important. So herein, how to calculate the various fare? So herein, the distance traveled is also important. That is, we can't calculate the fare per kilometer. We can't calculate the cost per passenger. Herein, the distance traveled is also important and the passengers traveling are also important. So very important, there are two factors responsible to fix up the fare. First one is the passengers. Second one is the distance traveled. Because okay, straight away we can't charge 1,000 rupees as the fare कि भाई आप अगर सूरत भी उतरोगे तो भी 1,000 चार्ज करेंगे, वडोदरा उतरोगे तो भी 1,000 चार्ज करेंगे. So herein, apart from the passengers, the distance traveled is also important. So very important, guys. Herein, in this case, the passengers and kilometers both are important. So we'll be calculating the cost per passenger per kilometer. Cost per passenger per kilometer. So my total cost is 50,000. The distance traveled is how much? Total distance traveled is how much? 500 kilometers. Total distance traveled is 500 kilometers. Mumbai to Surat 300, Surat to Vadodara 100, Vadodara to Ahmedabad 100. So the total distance traveled is 500 into the number of passengers traveling are how much? 50. So herein we have considered the kilometers also and the passengers also. So we'll be getting the cost per passenger per kilometer. That is the cost for every passenger for every kilometer traveled. So this will be rupees 2. 2 rupees per passenger kilometer. Now let's say, continuing from here. So let's say we have got the cost per passenger per kilometer. मतलब एक passenger 1 kilometer travel करेगा, तो how much will be charging? ₹2. So if a particular passenger is traveling from Mumbai to Surat, how much is the distance traveled? 300 kilometers. How much will be charging from every passenger for every kilometer? ₹2. So the cost will be how much? 600. Suppose Surat to Vadodara. How much is the distance? 100 kilometers. So how much will be the fare? 100 into 2, 200. Mumbai to Ahmedabad, the distance traveled is how much? 500 kilometers. How much will be charging the fare per passenger per kilometer? ₹2. So this will be 1. So you can calculate the fare from Surat to Ahmedabad or anywhere. So herein, practically this method is widely used, wherein we used to calculate the cost per passenger per kilometer, and depending upon the distance traveled, the bus company fixes up the fare. Anyone having any doubts till now? Anyone having any doubts? So herein, which method is more practical? This one or these two? So in general, very simple guys, this method is more practical and widely used. But yes, if we want to take the full bus on rent, generally when in marriage events or in some other events, when people do take a full bus on rent, they charges the fare per kilometer. But rest in all the cases wherein it is passenger transportation industry, they use this approach to calculate or to fix up the fare. So herein, very important, see, herein we have calculated the cost per kilometer. Herein we have calculated the cost per passenger. So only one factor was involved. See, herein it was only kilometer, here was it is only passenger. So we call it a single unit. Since only one factor was involved here and here, so we call it as single unit. And in this case, very simple guys, there are two factors, that is the kilometers also and the passengers also. So we call it as composite unit. So single unit, and since there are two factors, that is passengers and kilometers, so we call it as composite units. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. I request you guys to copy this explanation. So when talking about these two, this is single unit. Talking about this part, this method is more practical and widely used. Yes, Miss Harshkor, any doubts? Meenu, Aditya? There are a few students, I think they are absent. Meda, Hina, and all, they were regular till now. Anyone having any doubts? Yes, Harsh. Shamli. Mr. Rajiv Ram, good morning. When talking about the concepts, whatever I'm discussing, do try to copy it. Again, I repeat, copy everything, whatever the concepts I'm discussing. Apart from this, do write your comments in your notebook. That is, prepare your own notes. Whatever you will write, you will remember it forever. So try to copy it in the session itself. Thank you, Minu. So now let's proceed further. So as I discussed, there are two units, single unit and composite unit. I'm writing few examples of single unit and composite unit. So when talking about transportation industry, the single unit can be cost per passenger, cost per kilometer, cost per passenger. When talking about goods transportation industry, it can be cost per ton, cost per mile. So these are the few examples of single unit. In transportation industry, when talking about composite unit, it can be cost per passenger kilometer, cost per ton kilometer, cost per ton mile, etc. When talking about hotel industry, the single can be unit can be cost per room, cost per day. And when talking about composite unit, it can be cost per room day. It means every day how many rooms are occupied. When talking about hospitals, it can be cost per patient. It can be cost per bed. And again, cost per patient bed. That is how many beds are occupied in a day. So we will calculate the cost per patient bed. So these are the few examples of single unit and composite unit that are generally used in the question. The detailed list is there in the study material, so you can refer. So those who want to copy this part, you can copy, else it is given in the study material also. Thank you so much, Pooja. That I'll be discussing in the last session, Mustafa. So now let's proceed further. Now, in transportation industry, composite unit can be calculated. See, as I told you, what is single unit, what is composite unit, I have already discussed. Now, very important, guys, in transportation industry, the composite unit can be calculated in two ways. That is absolute and commercial. When talking about absolute, it is basically the weighted average approach. And when talking about commercial, it is simple average method. Let me discuss this concept with the help of an example. I request you guys to please download the notes what I have provided. There are many questions that are not in study material, so I request you guys to download the notes what I have provided, giving you 2 minutes time. There are few questions that are not in study material, so I suggest you guys to download. So question number 1 from my material, the same question is there in the study material also. So for this question, it's the question from study material only. So let's start. 1 second. I have uploaded. 1 second. Let me check. Admin sir, Manish sir, अजीत सर को वो अजीत सर को एक बार कॉल करेंगे, पूछेंगे नोट्स का क्या है. अप्रूवल अभी नहीं लगता है ना. हाँ प्लीज थोड़ा सा अर्जेंट. Okay, this question is from the study material only. 1 second. Those who don't study material can take the screenshot of example number 1 and example number 2. You can take the screenshot of example number 1 and example number 2. So let's start with example number 1. A lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric ton in station B and balance goods in station C. On return trip, it reaches station A with a load of 16 metric tons loaded at station C. The distance between A to B, B to C, and C to A is given. Compute absolute metric ton kilometer and commercial metric ton kilometer. Metric ton is basically metric tons or tons. So let's start. See, whenever you find these types of question wherein the lorry is going from A to B, B to C, C to B, and B to A, or whatever it is, try to convert it in diagrammatic form. So see, when talking about absolute weighted average method, see, the lorry starts from station A, it is going to station B, from B it is going to station C, and from C it is coming back to station A. So this is the lorry route. And when talking about the tons traveled, see, it starts with a load of 20 metric tons of goods from station A. It unloads 8 metric tons in station B and balance at C. So it starts with 20 metric tons from station A. It starts with 20 metric tons from station A. Now at B, it unloads 8 metric tons. So the tons traveled from B to C is how much? Only 12 metric tons. The quantity that is traveling from B to C is only 12 metric tons. Now from C to A, they are traveling with total 16 metric tons. Anyone having any doubts till now? I repeat again, guys, whenever you see it in this chapter, the major part is the calculation of single unit or composite unit. So that is the key. Rest, so you have to simply calculate the total cost. उसमें कोई भी rocket science नहीं है. The important part is the calculation of units, especially the composite units. So very simple, guys. The lorry starts with a load of 20 metric tons. So 20 metric tons से उन्होंने start किया, and once they reach station B, they unloaded 8 metric tons. So the tons traveled from A to B is 20. At B, they unloaded 8 metric tons. So balance left out is 12 metric tons that is transported from B to C. Now from C to A, they are traveling with 16 metric tons. So this is the details of the tons that are traveling. Now herein we have to calculate the ton and the kilometer. So when talking about the distance from A to B, it is 120 kilometers, 80 kilometers, 120 kilometers and 160 kilometers. So A to B, the distance is how much? 80 kilometers. B to C, it is 120 kilometers. And while coming back straight from C to A, the distance is how much? 160 kilometers. So now we have a clear picture that what is the distance traveled and how many tons traveled for that kilometer. So very simple. From A to B, 20 tons traveled for 80 kilometers. From B to C, 12 tons traveled with 120 kilometers. And from C to A, 16 tons traveled with 160 kilometers. So this will be 5,600 ton kilometer. Anyone having any doubts in this part? Please recheck your calculation, Minu. Anyone having any doubts? Yes. Now, when talking about, see, this is the absolute approach or weighted average approach. Now, when talking about commercial, very simple, distance traveled into average tons. So, distance traveled into average weight. So the total distance traveled is how much? 80 plus 120, 200 plus 160, that is 360, multiplied by average ton, that is 20 plus 12 plus 16, divided by 3. So this will be 5760 ton kilometer. Asking you guys again, anyone having any doubts in absolute and simple average calculation, that is weighted and simple average calculation? So see, 80 kilometers, 20 metric tons. So 20 into 80, 12 metric tons, 120 kilometers, 16 metric tons, 160 kilometers. So you have to multiply these three and you have to calculate the total. You will get 5,600 ton kilometers. You can check your calculation, Linga. I hope it is clear. Now, guys, very simple, very important. If the question is silent, how to calculate composite unit? Absolute or commercial? So very important, guys. If the question is silent, we have to follow this method to be applied in all the cases. To be used only when asked. To be used or applied only when clearly mentioned in question. So if the question is silent, this method is to be applied, that is weighted average method. But very important, when talking about the commercial method, it is to be applied only when clearly mentioned in the question. I request you guys to copy the solution along with the explanation. Let me complete this explanation, Pranav, then I'll be discussing this part. I request you guys to copy the solution. I hope it is clear, Linga. It is 16 into 160. It is 16 into 160, that is 2560. I'll be putting up variety of questions now. So still, if you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. Let's take one more question. I'm discussing example number 2 now. So calculate the total passenger kilometer from the following information. Calculate the total passenger kilometer from the following information, wherein number of buses are 6, number of days operating in a month, it is 25, trips made by each bus per day, it is 8, distance covered is 20 kilometers one way, the capacity of the bus is 40 passengers, normal 80% of the capacity utilization. So normal occupancy is 80%. So let's start with this question. I repeat again, you are required to calculate the total passenger kilometers from the following information, wherein the number of buses are 6. They are operating for 25 days in a month, and every day a bus is making 8 round trips. The distance traveled one way is 20 kilometers, the seating capacity is 40 passengers, and the occupancy is 80%. So let's start with example number 2. Again, a very simple question. Guys, do pay attention here and in this chapter. The key is the calculation of units. So see, a bus is 12. See, let's calculate the kilometer first. We'll be calculating the passenger kilometers also and the kilometers also. So one way the bus is traveling for how many kilometers? 20 kilometers. They are coming back for how many kilometers? 20 kilometers. So on an average, in a trip, they are traveling for 40 kilometers. A bus is making one trip of 40 kilometers round trip. Now, the total number of round trips are how much? 8 in a day. So one trip is of 40 kilometers. They are making 8 round trips in a day. 8 round trips in a day. So into 8. So per day we have got how much? 8 fours are 32. 320 kilometers a bus is traveling in a day. Now we have to calculate the total kilometers. So see, and there are total 25 days in a month they are working. So 25 days they are working in a month. And the total number of buses are, so this will be for every bus in a month. into total there are 6 buses. So we'll be calculating the total kilometer traveled in a month. Anyone having any doubts till now? Very good, everyone. Very good, Pranav. So this is the way we will calculate the kilometers. Now next is calculation of passenger kilometer. Again, the bus is traveling for 20 kilometers. Now, very important, the bus is traveling for 20 kilometers with how many passengers? See, the seating capacity is 40 passengers and the occupancy is 80%. So 40 into 80%, that is 32 passengers are traveling in the onwards journey. Plus, the return journey is also for 20 kilometers with 32 passengers. Into 8 trips in a day, into 25 days in a month, into the number of buses are 6. So we'll be getting 15 lakh 36,000 passenger kilometers. Very good, Geeta. The 40 passengers is the capacity and occupancy is 80%. Pranav, I recommend this way. You will understand. I'm discussing few more questions. You'll be able to figure out. Very good, Pooja. By Byalal. Very good, Riddhi. Very good, Pooja B. Anyone having any doubts or queries, you guys can post. In the meanwhile, I request you to copy this part, please. Very good, Linga. I request you to copy this explanation. Miss Chetra, sir, how we get 25 days in a month? It is given in the question, Chetra. Read the question carefully. I hope it is done now, Chetra. Any doubts? Read the question carefully. It is given that the number of days operating in a month is 25. I hope it is clear, Chetra. So now, since there are no queries from your end, so a question for you guys. Very good, Mustafa. Let me check. I request you guys to post your answer. Yes, it is wrong, Mustafa. First post the kilometers, then the passenger kilometer, Pooja, Byalal, and Pranav. So Shamli Sharma, your answer is correct for the kilometers. Himanshu, this much is the information that is given in question. So Linga, it is correct. Pranav, the answer is incorrect. Mustafa, it is correct. Pooja B, very good, it is correct. I just want the total distance traveled. Riddhi, sorry, Miss Rabari, total distance traveled. Very good, Ashlesha. The kilometers calculation is correct. Let me check with the passenger kilometers also. Nitya, please recheck your calculation, the passenger kilometer calculation. Okay, Nitya, it is correct. Sorry. Meenu, very good. It is correct. Nitya, it is correct. Mustafa, very good. Correct answer. Pranav, sorry, Pranav, the calculation is correct for passenger kilometer. Very good, Pranav. Very good, Gunjan. It is correct. Very good, Linga. It is correct. Himanshu, it is correct. Pooja Byalal. Just tell me the total kilometer calculation is incorrect, Pooja. So now let's start with the calculation. When talking about kilometers straight away, 15 kilometers in the onward journey, 15 kilometers in the return journey, multiplied by total 3 trips in a day into 26 days in a month. So this will be 2340 kilometers. When talking about the passenger kilometer part, see, onwards they are traveling for 15 kilometers with how many passengers? See, the occupancy is 80%. So 50 into 80%. So this will be 40 passengers. In the return journey also, they are traveling for 15 kilometers with how many passengers? 50 into 70 for 70%. That is 35 passengers. Multiplied by 3 trips into 26 days. So I hope, Pranav, your query is resolved. Very good, Shamli, it is correct. So instead of multiplying it directly, better just prepare in this way. Very good, Rabari. So let's discuss one more question. Those who want to copy the question and solution can copy, giving you 2 minutes time. No worries, Pooja Bayalal, that's okay. Let's take one more question. A 8-tonner lorry is transporting coal from mine to warehouse. A 8-tonner lorry is transporting coal from mine to warehouse. The distance traveled one way is 25 kilometers. Lorry operates for 30 days in a month. Lorry carries full load in the onward journey and after unloading it returns empty from warehouse. Calculate kilometers and ton kilometer. You are required to calculate the kilometers and ton kilometers. Mustafa, don't rush for the solution. Read the question carefully. Very good, Pooja Byalal. It is correct. Okay, so Riddhi, the 10 kilometers is incorrect. Mustafa, kilometer it is correct. Again, guys, stick to the concepts what I have taught you. Don't go here and there. Follow the approach what I have taught you. Trust me, your answers will be correct. Whatever you have learned in past, just skip it. And okay, so I've got correct answer from Ashlesha. Very good, Ashlesha. Ashlesha, it is incorrect. Sorry, Ashlesha. Pooja B, it is incorrect. Nitya M, it is incorrect. Gunjan, the kilometer calculation is correct. Mustafa, the kilometer is correct. The 10 kilometer is incorrect. Harsh Mishra, the kilometer calculation is correct. Chetra, kilometer is correct. 10 kilometer, it is incorrect. Linga, the kilometer calculation is correct. Himanshu, please recheck your calculation. I think I've got the correct answer, and I think Shamli is the first one to answer. So very good, Shamli. It is correct now. Himanshu Kumar, again it is incorrect. Gunjan Devi, it is incorrect. Nitya M, the 10 kilometer is incorrect. Any other opinion? Okay, so Meenu Kumari, kilometer calculation is correct. I don't know, Pooja Byalal. I want the correct answer and the final answer. No explanation. Okay, so who has posted this? Meenu Kumari, it is incorrect. Pranav, again, since you mentioned that can I multiply it directly? See, try to prepare it in diagrammatic way for everyone whose answers are incorrect for 10 kilometer. Try to prepare it in diagrammatic way. You will get the correct answer. Harsh Mishra, it is incorrect. Manisha, very good. So, I think it's Shamli and Manisha who has got the correct answer. Very good. Aditya, it is incorrect. Ashlesha, it is incorrect. Keep on trying, guys. Pooja Byalal, it is incorrect. Anyone else with any opinion? Okay, I've got one more answer. Let me check. Pranav. Again, it is incorrect, Pranav. Miss Rabari, again, it is incorrect. Keep on trying, guys. See, there is no rocket science. It's only the concept what I have discussed. Linga, it is incorrect. Himanshu Kumar, again, it is incorrect. I appreciate your efforts. Both the answers are in. 1 second. Himanshu, I think one answer is correct. Very good, Himanshu. But you have to figure out which answer is correct. Mustafa, please recheck. Harsh Mishra, it is incorrect. Meenu Kumari, it is incorrect. Nitya M. Yes, one answer is correct, Nitya. Even Himanshu also posted both the answer. So of these two answers, one answer is the correct answer. But you can't give an option to the examiner. Hina Kumar, very good morning. You are late today. The kilometer calculation is incorrect. Again, Pranav, it is incorrect. Again, what I'm saying is stick to the method what I have discussed. You will get the answer, Pranav. Himanshu, I think you have opted the wrong answer. The second one is the correct one, Himanshu. It is incorrect. What about the other students sleeping or what? There are many students in class. Nidhi Kumari, Nisi, Divya Jain, Miss Kumudvalli, Rohan, Prajyot. You're not posting the answer. Mujahid, Kuldeep Nagar, Abhijit, Ria, Manisha. I'm not getting answers from your end. Kilometers is correct. Hina, very good. So now let's go ahead with the final answer. So when talking about the kilometer, the lorry is traveling for 25 kilometers in the onwards journey, 25 kilometers in the return journey. Into how many days in a month? 30 days in a month. So only one round trip in a day for 30 days in a month. So this will be 1500 kilometers. So most of the students posted this answer and the answer was correct. Let me check once again. That's what it is. Focus on the language, Himanshu. So now, very good, Pranav. You have got the answer. I appreciate your efforts. Very good, Pranav. Yes, Mustafa, you can. So now I've got answer from Pooja also. Very good, Pooja. Pooja Byalal. It is incorrect, Nidhi. Now let's start with 10 kilometers calculation. See, a 8-tonner lorry is transporting coal from mine to warehouse. The distance traveled one way is 25 kilometer. Lorry operates for 30 days in a month. Lorry carries a full load in onwards journey and after unloading, it returns empty from warehouse. So in the onward journey from mine to warehouse, 25 kilometers, they are carrying how many tons? 8 tons. Plus, in the return journey, that is for 25 kilometers, how many tons they are carrying? 0 tons. For how many days? 30 days. So this will be 0. So this will be 2000, 2000 into 330, it will be 6000 ton kilometer. Very good, Pooja. Now it is correct. Kilometer calculate. Very good, everyone. Hina, please check the calculation. Ashlesha, the kilometer calculation was correct. Very good. That's what it is, Minu. But anyways, that's okay. Yes, Ashlesha. So in this session and in the coming session, I'll be putting a variety of questions in front of you. These questions examiner can ask as few points in a big question. So the point is, do pay attention, and whatever the questions and I'm asking, try your best to solve the question. Return journey kilometers into how many tons? 0 tons. So that's why it is 6000 ton kilometers. See, when talking about the charging part, they will be charged for how many ton kilometers? 25 into 8 into 30 days. This much only kilometers that will be charged. So actually, now the total cost divided by ton kilometer. Therefore, the cost per ton kilometer will be increased because it is returning empty. That's why the cost per ton kilometer will be increased. So that is the reason we are ignoring this part. See, basically, we can say in process costing, the norm due to normal loss, the cost was inflated. Simply in the same case, let's say if the taxi runs empty, so that empty that I mean the cost of that empty running will be borne by the remaining kilometers. So the same goes here also. So for this return trip, it is to be borne by the onward trip only. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? I appreciate your efforts. Very good, everyone. Riddhi, hopefully it is cleared. I'm just going with the same concepts what I have discussed till now. We'll be discussing one more question, one question also. We'll be discussing one question wherein you will figure out that key. This is basically the loss to the company, so it will be borne by the tons that have actually traveled in the onwards journey. Pranav, hopefully now your answer is clear that why we are not directly multiplying it by the passengers or tons. Yes, Pranav? Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Miss Rabari, hopefully your query is resolved. Anyone with any doubts or queries? It is given also that after unloading, it returns empty from the warehouse. ये पॉइंट लास्ट आई थिंक कुछ अटेम्प्ट पहले ये क्वेश्चन आया था उसमें भी ये पॉइंट था द सेम पॉइंट. Those who want to copy the question and solution can please copy. So we are done with the calculation of units. This much is more than sufficient. So now let's start with how to prepare cost sheet. See, as I said, there is no rocket science, simply the total cost divided by units. So herein, when talking about transportation industry, we'll prepare the cost sheet as herein we'll be dividing all the cost in three parts. That is, the first part is fixed oblique standing cost. Next will be the variable oblique running cost. Whatever the variable cost, we'll write the total. And last is the maintenance cost. So ultimately, we have to divide the cost in three parts, that is fixed cost, variable cost, and maintenance cost. So the total of these three will be my total cost. That is A plus B plus C. If we divide total cost by units, we'll get the cost per unit of service. So कॉस्ट शीट जैसा लंबा चौड़ा फॉर्मेट नहीं है. A very simple format wherein we have to categorize or we have to divide the cost in three parts. That is the fixed oblique standing cost, variable or running cost, and the last one is maintenance cost. Write down the total. This we will get the total cost divided by units. So the units can be composite units also, single units also. So we'll divide it by units. We will get the cost per unit of the service. Anyone having any doubts? I request you guys to copy the format. So we are done with the explanation. So now let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes, wherein we'll start from example number 3. So if you have time, then do read example number 3. We'll be discussing example number 3 and 4 today. So if you have time, do read example number 3. After the break, I'll be starting from example number 3. The similar question is there in the study material also. And the notes are uploaded over the portal, so you can download the notes. I've already posted. Manish sir, are you there? अजीत सर से बात हुआ था आपका? हाँ, एक बार आप कॉल करेंगे प्लीज उनको. हाँ, मनीष सर, प्लीज. So sir, please put it on break ना. Break started. Yeah, you can put it on break for 15 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Welcome back, my friends. So let's start with example number 3. ABC Transport Company has given a route of 40 kilometers to run a bus. The bus cost the company a sum of rupees 10 lakh. It has been insured at the rate of 3% per annum. Annual taxes will amount to rupees 20,000. Garage rent is 20,000 per month. Annual repairs are 2,04,000. The bus is likely to last for 2.5 years. The driver's salary will be 30,000 per month and the conductor's salary will be 25,000 per month. In addition to 10% of the takings as commission. So takings is basically the revenue. So in addition to take 10% of the taking as commission to be shared by driver and conductor equally. The cost of stationery will be 1,000 per month. Manager cum accountant salary is 17,000 per month. Petrol and oil will be rupees 500 for every 100 kilometers. The bus will make 3 up and down trips carrying on an average 40 passengers on each trip. The bus will run on an average for 25 days in a month. Assuming 15% profit on takings, calculate the bus fare to be charged from each passenger. So let's start with example number 3. Fixed or standing cost. Let me complete. Very good, Mustafa. So the bus costs rupees 10 lakh. See, the bus is likely to last for 2.5 years, and I think there is no scrap value given. So we'll start with depreciation. The bus costs rupees 10 lakh. And the useful life is 2.5 years. So the depreciation will be 4 lakh rupees. It has been insured at the rate of 3% per annum. So we will calculate the insurance premium also. So this will be 30,000. Annual tax amounts to rupees 20,000. One second, let me check if there are any queries. Very good, Shamli. So annual tax amounts to rupees 20,000. Garage rent is 20,000 per month. So this will be 2,40,000. Now annual repairs 2,04,000 will go under repairs and maintenance. Now see, the driver's salary is 30,000 per month and the conductor salary is 25,000 per month. So we will be taking the fixed portion in the fixed cost and the commission in the variable cost. So driver salary, it is 30,000 and 25,000 for the conductor. Cost of stationery is 1,000 per month. Manager come accountant salary is 17,000 per month. Again, it will go under fixed cost only. So this will be 2,04,000. I think we are done with all the fixed cost. This will be my total. Okay. When talking about the variable cost, it is petrol and oil 500 for every 100 kilometers. Now see, for this we need to calculate the number of kilometers. So let's calculate the kilometers. So the route traveled is 40 kilometers long. So 40 kilometers onward, 40 kilometers return. Total 80 kilometers for every trip. Into how many trips in a day? 3 trips in a day. Into how many days in a month? 25 days in a month. And since we are using the annual data, see, all this is what the annual cost, yearly cost. So we will multiply it by 12 months. So we will get the kilometers. I repeat again, guys, since the costs are annually, so we'll be calculating the annual kilometers. So this will be 72,000 kilometers. Anyone having any doubts till now? You guys can post your queries. Very good, Mustafa. Very good, Pooja Byalal. Very good, Pranav. Very good, Meenu. So we have got the total kilometers now. So 72,000 is the kilometers. For every 100 kilometers, 500 is the cost. It is given in the question also that for every, so petrol and oil will be 500 for every 100 kilometers. So this will be 3,60,000. Now next is driver commission and conductor commission that need to be calculated. Driver commission and conductor commission is pending. So the total of these three will be what? My total B. And last is the maintenance cost. It is given in the question, annual repairs are 2,04,000. So let's calculate the total of total A. So total A is 15,66,000. So total cost So now see, the question is asking us to calculate the fare to be charged from each passenger assuming profit as 15% of takings. So now let's calculate the commission, the revenue and the profit element. Calculation of commission and revenue. Now see, herein in this question, see the profit is 15% of the taking. Takings means the revenue. So profit is 15% of the total revenue and the commission is 10% of the total revenue. See, the profit is total 15% of the total revenue. The commission is 10% of the total revenue. So my cost we will write down the cost excluding commission. So my cost excluding commission is how much? 15,66,000 plus 3,60,000 and plus 2,04,000. So my cost excluding commission is 21,30,000. In this, if we add commission and profit, we will get the revenue. If we add commission and profit, then we will get the revenue. In cost excluding commission, if we add commission and profit, we will get the total revenue. Now see, let's assume that the revenue is 100. Let's assume that the revenue is 100. Of this 100, 15% is what? My profit. Of this 100, 15% is what? My profit. 10% is what? My commission. So balance will be what? My cost excluding commission. Let's assume my sales or revenue is 100. Out of this 100, 15% is what? My profit. 10% is what? My commission that is to be paid to drivers. So balance 75% will be what? My all the other cost excluding commission. So 75 is what? 21,30,000. We have to calculate the revenue. So my total revenue will be how much? 28,40,000. I repeat again. Let's assume that my revenue is 100. So my profit will be how much? It is 15% of the revenue. So this will be 15. My commission will be how much? 10% of the total revenue. So this will be 10. Now balance we are left out with is how much? 75. 75 will be what? My cost excluding commission. That is 21,30,000. So 21,30,000 is equals to 75. So how much will be 100? 28,40,000. So therefore my profit will be how much? 4,26,000. And my commission will be how much? That is 2,84,000. Now this commission is to be shared by driver and conductor equally. So 2,84,000 divided by 2, that is 1,42,000 will be my commission for driver and 1,42,000 will be my commission for the conductor. So we will be able to get the total cost also. So we have the total revenue figure that is 28,40,000. Now herein, one second, let me check if there are any queries. Please recheck your calculation, Linga. Very good, Rabari. I'm not getting what you are saying, Harsh. Can you please repost your query? Very good, Pooja B. Very good, Mustafa. See, Meenu Kumari, please read the question. The driver's salary will be 30,000 per month and the conductor will be 25,000 per month. In addition, 10% of the takings as commission. Now bracket में लिखा है to be shared equally, to be shared by driver and conductor equally. So the total commission is 10%, that is to be shared by driver and conductor equally. So that is 2,84,000 into 1 by 2 and 2,84,000 into 1 by 2. Now see, The question is asking us to calculate the bus fare to be charged from each passenger. So we need to calculate the passenger kilometer. So now same way, 40 kilometers they are traveling. The occupancy is how much? So it is given straight away 40 passengers. So into 40, in the return also 40 kilometers with how many passengers? 40 into how many days? How many trips? 3 trips into 25 days in a month into 12 months in a year. So this will be 28 lakh 80,000. This is my total passenger kilometer. So we have the revenue. If we divide revenue with passenger kilometer, we will get the revenue per passenger per kilometer. So if we divide it by my passenger kilometer, that is 28 lakh 80,000, we'll be getting the fare or revenue per passenger per kilometer. That is 0.986. So if we want to see now, this is what the fare to be charged from every passenger for every kilometer. So if we want to calculate the fare one way, it will be how much? See, we are supposed to charge 0.986 for every kilometer traveled by a passenger. So 0.986, if a particular passenger is traveling for 40 kilometers, one way trip is how much? 40 kilometers. So how much fare will be charging? 39.44. And if we want to calculate the fare for round trip, then it will be 39.44 into 2. So this is the way you have to solve the question. If anyone having any doubts or queries, you guys can please post your queries. Please recheck your calculation, Mustafa. Miss Dia Jain, yes, the commission is 10% of the total sales. The sales is 28 lakh 40,000. Of this, 15% is the profit, 10% is the commission, and balance 75% is the cost, that is excluding commission. $360 plus 142 plus 142. It is 6,44,000. Himanshu, please recheck. Very good, Shamli. You can tell me the alternate approach, Mustafa. I think this is the best approach. Your answer is incorrect. Very good, Pooja. All your answers are correct. See, there can be a difference of opinion, Pranav. We can charge the garage rent to maintenance also and to fixed cost. So any sort of confusion, if you're finding anything, bit confusing, just write a footnote. that garage rent can be alternatively put up in maintenance cost. Yes, very important point. This garage rent we can alternatively put up in maintenance cost. One more point, this driver and conductor salary can be shown all together in variable and running cost. So both the approaches are correct. So Pooja Byalal sir, how come 21 lakh 30,000 came? So Pooja, see, read the line. Cost excluding commission. Cost is excluding commission. Writing this for your reference. See, my fixed cost is how much? 15 lakh 66,000. My cost excluding commission, that is petrol, we have already calculated, that is 3 lakh 60,000. Plus my maintenance cost, that is given straight away 2 lakh 4,000. So this is what my total cost excluding commission 21 lakh 30,000. I hope Pooja Byalal, your query is resolved. I request you to copy this explanation. I request you guys to copy this explanation. Those who have any doubts or queries, you guys can post your queries. Linga, when talking about fixed and variable cost, you have to use a common sense. Few costs may vary. I mean, in few industries, certain costs might be fixed, certain costs might be variable. So, depending upon the facts and circumstances, you have to differentiate that this is variable and this is fixed. One more example. Let's say here in this question, the total cost is given and the useful life is given in years. Now, let's say the useful life is given in kilometers. Let's say that the bus can run max to max 3 lakh kilometers in his life, and this year they have run for 72,000 kilometers. So here, very simple, the depreciation cost will be the variable cost. So if the useful life is given in years, it will be fixed. If the useful life is given in kilometers, it will be variable. So there are many examples. So you can fix it up either in fixed or variable. So you have to apply common sense that which cost will be categorized in fixed or which in variable. Anything else apart from this, Linga? Yes, Pooja. Yes, there are total 3 round trips. Sir, Mustafa, sir, each way, if divide with cost, the cost per passenger we got, and after we have got. Mustafa, can you please unmute and speak up? I'm not getting what you're saying. Mustafa, if you have mic, then raise your hand. I'll tell admin sir to unmute you. You have mic? Okay, great, perfect. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? I think one of the students raised a query, sir. What is the difference between operating costing? I think it was Pranav. Service costing and operating costing. Service costing and operating costing are same only. We can use this word interchangeably. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Now, guys, one second, there is a query. I have mentioned 3 only, Chetra. Please check. Round trip means coming and going. Total for 3 times, Chetra. Now let's take one question. Example number 4. I'll be just reading this question and I want you guys to solve this question on your own. Don't refer any sort of material or my past lectures or anything. One second, there is one more query. That I'll be discussing in the coming sessions, Mustafa. So this is the homework for you. Example number 4. I want you guys to just try to solve this question independently without referring any past lectures or past material. So read this question and try to solve it on your own. So example number 4, Global Transport Limited charges rupees 90 per ton for its 6-ton truck lorry from city A to B. I repeat again, example number 4, Global Transport Limited charges 90 per ton for its 6-ton truck lorry from lorry load from city A to city B. The charges for the return journey are 84 per ton. Now, no concession or reduction in this rate is made for any delivery of goods at intermediate station C. So there are 2 stations A and B, and the intermediate station is C. Now see, let's check the story. In January 2020, the truck made 12 outwards journey for city B with full load. So when talking about the full load, it means it is 12 journey into 6 ton. So that is total 72 tons. So in January 2020, the truck made 12 outwards journey for city B with full load, out of which 2 tons were unloaded twice in the way city C. So truck started with total 12 journey with full load means 72 tons. Of this, 2 tons were unloaded at intermediate station C. It means 4 tons in total were unloaded at city C. So balance tons that are transported from C to B is how much? 72 minus 4, that is 68. I'm just explaining the question. Now, the truck carried a load of 8 tons on its return journey for 5 times. So out of 12 times, see 12 times there was an onward journey. So the return journey will also be for 12 times. Of this 12 times, 5 times they carried a load of 8 tons. But once caught by police and 1200 was paid as fine. For the remaining trips, the truck returned for the remaining trips, the truck carried full load. That is, for the remaining 7 trips. See, out of 12, 5 they went back with 8 tons. And for the remaining 7 journeys, they carried a load of 6 tons. So, for the remaining trips, the truck carried full load, out of which all goods on load were unloaded at CTC. So for the remaining 7 times, they carried a load of 6 tons. But once the entire 6 tons in the return journey were unloaded at CTC, so balance tons were transported from C to A. So out of which all goods on load were unloaded once at CTC, but it returned without any load from only from CTC to A. Now the distance from city A to city C and B are 140 and 300 kilometers respectively. Annual fixed and maintenance charges are 60,000 and 12,000 respectively. Running charges spent during the month of January, it is 2944. You are required to find out the cost per absolute ton kilometer and profit for the January 2020. So I want you guys to attempt this question. Again, don't refer my past sessions because yes, I think in 2-3 past sessions I have discussed this question. Try to solve it on your own. Anyways, I'll be discussing this question in the next session. But just I want you guys to try to solve that. Okay, how you will approach with the new question. See, there is no fixed pattern कि आपने जो पढ़ा है वही एग्जाम में आएगा. Examiner, if you have solved 100 question, examiner can ask you 100 first question also. This is CA. So the point is make it a habit to solve new questions on your own. See, exam में ना तो recorded session रहेगा ना आपके पास solution होगा. So try to make it a habit to solve variety of questions on your own. So don't refer any material or past RTPs or past examination paper because this question has been asked 3 to 4 times in past few attempts. So don't refer any solution. Don't refer my previous session lecture. Just try to solve this question on your own. Be it right, be it wrong. I just want you guys to attempt the question. That what is your approach of attempting a new question and a different question from the regular one. So this is all what about this question. Example number 4. I want you guys to solve this question on your own. So this is all what about today's session. If you guys have any doubts or queries relating to today's session, you guys can post your query. I think the next class is on Tuesday. So make sure you guys are ready with the solution. Still, if you guys have any doubts or queries in today's session, you guys can post your query. Giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Whatever the queries you have, you guys can post your queries. Any conceptual queries or any doubts relating to the units, composite unit, single unit, you guys can post your queries. Thank you so much, Mustafa. Yes, Aditya, just try to solve this question. The key is basically the calculation of ton kilometer. You can refer the study material for the same, Hina. I'll try my best to cover all the variety of services. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So the key in this question is the calculation of absolute ton kilometer. That is the key. Rest everything is given away straight away in the question. That is the fixed cost, variable cost, and running cost. The key is the calculation of absolute ton kilometers. So attempt it, try it on your own. Be it right, be it wrong. Do post your answers. 1 second. So guys, thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. Do revise what I have discussed in today's class. Try to solve the questions what I have discussed in today's class once again. And then homework is example number 4 from my material. So make sure you are ready with your answers in the coming session. Till then, take care of yourself. God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great day. Admin sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.